Well, hello there. How y'all doing today?
Hello.
Hope you're doing well. It has been, well, it's been a week. It's been a week. I don't know.
It's been 1 week.
I don't even think it's been that. I think it's been like 4 days or so. But I've really been looking forward to getting back to this because the last episode was so good. It's so good. And we figured out that our man here. Hang on a minute. You're a xenomorph. What's up with that?
What?
My dude.
Don't worry about it.
Green blood.
Green blood.
Yeah.
Oh.
Comprende.
Yeah. Quit that. Anyway,
Could you full screen, please?
oh yeah, of course I could do that. Chat, let me know how everything sounds. Also, interesting, we started the last stream with one of these, and now we're starting this stream with one of these as well. I think it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the main reason why I asked you to continue so that we got the music during the timer.
Makes sense, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. A different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
As only 2 bullets were found at this scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted.
You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
I never imagined that a simple operation would cause me such grief.
My God.
Maybe you shouldn't be here?
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see that I'm in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
That didn't tell us anything. Fine, thank you.
Let's press him. By the way, the game is kind of quiet according to chat.
Game is kind of quiet. Game is kind of quiet. So you say, and so I fix. Hopefully.
Let's increase it during the no music part.
Yeah, bad timing, huh?
Yeah, that's what dupes are. It would seem there was little remaining room for doubt.
Have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black.
I hope that he continues to speak here because his pipe is sticking into his mustache, not his mouth. Yep, look at that.
Oh my God!
Yep.
But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I thought I'd jolly well have been hoodwinked.
What is up with your pipe? Is something wrong with your pipe?
Well, no more.
Change model halfway through.
It's possible that like something about his modeling had to change for this this shift over. I don't know. The whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
It's not. Iris?
That prosecutor is being mean.
At Arc, at Wonder, take 2 pictures of your cats each so Gomez can view them in 3D. Ooh, that's a great idea. Okay.
I'll just take a
Calico.
picture with my Nintendo 3DS camera.
Ooh, yeah.
Just because Ginny has done some things she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer. I got more wine.
Oh, good. Another bottle?
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter.
You're a fruity vintage.
Here's to the truth coming out. Eventually.
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 That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm sleepy. Yes, my lord.
Good.
Here we go. The defense's rebuttal. All right, let's talk about
check. Can you hear it now, chat?
it. Yes, how does it sound? Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces? The greatest military organization in the world.
No, I'm simply illustrating my point.
Oh.
Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous.
Yes, well, might have a point there, I suppose. Let's not forget the girl has already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through. Can't deny it.
I really wish that I hadn't noticed the pipe thing, because now I can't stop looking at it.
I like
When you-
resting it on my upper lip.
Okay. When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this?
Exactly. Tried to have it only a day earlier, or am I mistaken?
Are you mistaken indeed? That's a great question. Tell me how that sounds instead, chat. Okay. Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that.
I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it.
Shut up, Iris. We looked last time.
No!
Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe. Did he actually do that, or did he just say he was going to?
Oh, I'll just
Yes.
sit back down then.
Yeah, I also thought you were getting in line.
We still don't know what tune it plays, though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy.
McGillicud's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. Oh.
Art, can you take a look at the audio levels in OBS again, please?
Yes, of course. What's going on?
I'm just wondering why it's so quiet.
Yeah, it seems pretty quiet.
Really?
Oh, is it
should
because
be
your
a-
microphone is turned down on your volume mixer?
My microphone?
Oh, you mean the bar on
the one labeled as microphone.
I'm not sure. What would I change?
On your volume mixer.
On your volume mixer window that you have up right now.
This bit right here? I mean, I have that down intentionally because, like, it does change the volume of the game. I just don't want to make it too loud. That's
Well, for them, it should be up to -30. You're about half there on stream. You
That's
could
a-
get the one OBS turned up there as well, because it was getting louder for you too.
I mean, I could put it to maximum if you want.
In OBS, yeah, we're good for tonight. We can look into it from there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still pretty low.
What do you think, chat?
Well, I think it's fine because he has the Discord call and his mic lower than
That's much
how
better.
I normally put it too.
That's
Okay.
much better.
Okay.
Okay. As long as that's much better. Okay. I'd like to talk to you. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced?
Only 2 bullets were fired, and 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes.
sometimes after dining, crockery goes missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which were unaware,
In Sholmes.
I'd have to reconsider my position.
A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible? I don't think I can prove that yet.
I can prove
Wait.
it.
I think you can.
Oh?
His surgeon
blood
might be
on-
the stand.
The blood on the calendar.
Well, that's one of the
Well-
2 that we're already aware of, correct?
Yeah,
But
it's not
the-
Shums.
It's not Sholmes' blood though.
We
You know the
actually
color
don't.
now.
We don't have Sholmes' blood here. If it turns out that he also has green blood, then there's no problem, right? I don't know if right now I can do this. I think maybe I'll have to come back.
Yeah, maybe I'm a few steps ahead.
Maybe.
Until we can get Sholmes' blood.
Unfortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during their investigation.
Yes, I know.
Right.
And I don't imagine the good men of the Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt.
And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. Sounds like a crime scene to me.
A third bullet.
It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it?
Do you think we can find one lying around somewhere?
Yes, talk to me. So, if I've understood correctly, you need 2 pictures. A left eye one and a slightly different right eye one.
We know!
Yes!
Exactly! Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions, like this!
I love how you're voicing this character.
So, if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them.
See the bullet in 3D.
Whoa. I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the
Squint.
same here.
Squeak.
The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Think about it. Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it? This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon. Hi. Hello.
Hello!
Hold it. Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that has nothing to do with the trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplainable. Yep. Don't you think?
Explicit.
Yeah, sure.
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
Oh, what was the fellow's name now? Hurlich? No, Herlock. Herlock?
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes, good lord! It was that Herlock fellow!
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right. Using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or another, so I opened him up like a shot that he had. But the funny thing is, I went over the inside with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere.
Ew, why would you take a comb to his insides? That's so weird. Ew.
So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fella back up and drop my scalpel.
I hate to state the obvious, but
Yes?
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel for the defense is correct. As clearly shown in this photographic print.
The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. Okay, now old man, just tell me that there was no exit wound, and then we're set. I think you'll find it really is quite simple if you just consider the problem 3-dimensionally.
Actually, like, really easy.
Ha! Who do you think I am, son? I'm a doctor, not a mathematician.
Juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
Damn it, Ryu.
Ash, as soon as I saw the wound in the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake.
Like a flapjack.
Are you saying you checked his back?
Of course I did.
Yes.
And there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
Perfect. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Sweet.
Really?
What?
That's the point! The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's insides. Which is exactly why I kept set to slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can someone please explain how it happened? Can someone please solve the mystery?
Also, my theory that Shom's faked getting shot is now totally bunk. It's gone. It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together.
Yeah, I was just thinking, in a sensible court, this man would be a witness.
Yeah. His voice line changed.
Oh, the mystery of where the bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one?
It's you!
Who?
Mr. Shom's surgeon is on the jury. I've experienced some coincidences recently, but this is ridiculous.
I am as surprised as anyone.
But there's no question that Mr. Sholmes was shot.
Well, that was what the police told me when they brought him in.
How bad were his injuries, Doctor?
Yeah, it was in a bad way. He lost a huge amount of Kool-Aid, blood, you know. And I suspect he was shot at quite a close range, too. His skin was badly burned around the point of entry.
That doesn't make sense.
It does. When the powder explodes out of the gun, it sprays out a bit. And
Yes.
if you're close enough to the person you shot, it burns them.
Correct,
This
but
is true.
Yeah,
I'm an
but
expert on ballistics.
We were there when he was shot.
I
were they
don't-
actually that close to him? when
I
he
don't
was-
think we were. I mean, unless the visuals for that scene just weren't quite correct. I think you need to be a lot closer than it looked like we were.
Like
Did
a foot or
Herlock?
so?
Did Herlock shoot himself?
What?
I think maybe Herlock might have shot himself.
But why?
I don't know. Burnt?
As I said, I flipped the fellow over and examined his back, but there was no sign of an exit wound. Which is why I thought it'd be better to locate the lug and pop it out.
And yet you say you found no bullet inside the patient.
Well, I wouldn't have done it, would I? Because it's in the wall of the pawnbrokers.
Do you not see the problem?
How did it get there? I need someone to solve this mystery before it drives me completely insane. If there was just some expert in ballistics who could help, we would have looked extremely untrustworthy.
So,
Only such a person existed.
if only, Cajun dog wheelage. So we have a disappearing bullet on our hands. Oh my god. Talk,
Came yelling at you for not doing it earlier.
talk to me, please. What do you mean you're in for a busy day?
Forgot to say, stop. Do excuse me. Stop. I am a communications officer. Stop.
Figured it out. A communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams?
Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire city electronically.
Morse code, psychic master. To the entire world? Or the entire city?
Thousands of miles of cables under the sea. Stop. Worldwide communication network. Stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe. Stop.
Ah, yes.
I will not stop.
She was getting equally worked up about radio waves or the like before, wasn't she?
I specialize in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices.
I see.
I'm sure I have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later.
Did your hand glitch? Haven't you been going non-stop since the trial started?
She stopped every now and then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she occasionally stops.
Okay.
So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine.
Well, let's just finish the trial first, shall we? You.
Hold it!
Hello. I thought you were just a tourist. He has a job back home.
Wonder?
Flounder?
Oh, Wonder just said
Oh.
BRB. Oops.
Oh. I've made a
Oh.
mistake. Crap.
Who is good at Russian?
Jay, do you want to give it a shot?
Oh God, no. Okay. Good day. I am visiting London from sightseeing. I
I'm
would.
back.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
thank
back.
God. Please take this away from me.
Okay, sorry. I started out at exactly the wrong moment.
that's okay.
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a wizarding tourist. Shut
up!
So you're a ballistics expert? Who knew?
I have much experience with guns.
Ah,
I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent, death of, no, blood of,
Extreme white blood baths, perhaps?
whoa.
that?
Yes. That line.
Those extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue.
Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue.
Anyway, if you have questions about the bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know, no mystery I cannot solve.
He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure. Juror number 6, what are your thoughts on seesaws?
I have seen many a seesaw homicide.
Oh.
It is a classic.
But if possible, please, only in Russian language.
I cannot.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No. Still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. Do you just want me to pit him against drummer number 4 on principle? Van Zeeks
Yeah.
has managed... Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Van Zeeks has managed to convince everyone.
When you eliminate the impossible, he said. But he hasn't.
If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. No waiting, just go. Here you go. Objection! Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other.
Oh, a ballistics expert.
Pitting. P-I-T-T.
On the
I am
night,
not stone fruit.
on the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Whelan. Pleased to meet you.
So you just admit it then. This apparent contradiction in the facts is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery?
I have seen a very similar situation in Motherland.
Hmm?
It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold.
Golly.
The snow was piling high on both sides of road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles, and they were on dog sleds.
Mental note, don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind, and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how do you say, exit wound.
Then where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very, very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looked just like bullet wound.
Good gracious!
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me.
The perfect murder weapon.
And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
That makes sense. Oh.
But that doesn't answer the question at all!
Hmm?
The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here.
Bruno. Where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears the little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, was it like glass? Well, then why would it disappear? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of a very dangerous chemical that he uses in his investigations.
What? Really? Doctor, where is the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing of that in his purse when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
That'll explain the burns.
If I may.
Don't.
Lord Van Zeeks?
While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during the simulation examination.
Ark, would you leave a piece of glass in a man? No, you missed the problem. The problem is that he went in, he did the surgery, and he didn't find anything wrong.
Well, he hasn't mentioned a piece of glass, but maybe there was some in there.
So my new theory is that the chemical created this
Yeah.
injury. Yeah.
Chemical burn. Okay.
I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom.
Sorry?
As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Ah! Thank goodness! Though I was grateful for a moment.
Since then, it's been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred.
Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Holmes' pouch!
Yeah.
I'm never saying
Please
Sherlock
have a
Holmes
blood
correctly
sample.
again.
I see.
Oh,
So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes the night of the question, is it?
Look at that! One of the files is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded.
Exploded?
This explains why there would be a burn, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Makes much more sense. So that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate the victim, but was deflected into wall of shop.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Oh.
A delightfully complex aroma. See, I didn't.
Oh, impressive.
Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least.
Don't do it.
Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta wait until after the summation examination before I throw this file. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker.
Not the deputy.
The pertinent fact of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Duh. Thank you very much.
Very.
Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum is solved, the court will sequester this scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
Sholmes' pouch has been entered into the court record.
Let's examine it as soon as you get music.
Yeah.
Oh, hey!
Now, the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion.
Give me some time. Please, my lord. A little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue. And you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryunosuke. There's still a way to turn this around. Somehow, I'm sure of it. Now we can have a look. Okay. Hi. What do you have going on? Wow, look. Hey! Hi.
Yeah.
A bullet?
It's really scorched badly just here.
Oh, the strap is broken. Look.
This must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see.
Yeah, baby.
There's the bullet.
Mm-hmm. What the?
Missed this?
Iris, look. Yeah, this is a terrible showing on Van Zeke's part.
Yeah.
Behind where the broken vial was, do you see it?
Let's hear it for the Bobbies of Scotland Yard, everybody.
Damn it,
Ah,
Bobby.
that's the Skulkin Brothers bullet.
What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night.
You found exactly what the Joe was talking about. The 3rd bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think. 3rd
The
bullet.
gun fired 3 times, and the first shot was on Christmas Eve.
Wow! Also,
Ah, that means it wasn't Christmas.
glad to discover that Sholmes did not shoot himself.
Yeah.
This is where the 3rd bullet was lodged. Imagine what would have happened if it had pierced the leather. Thank goodness Mr. Sholmes is going to be all right. Oh,
Now, if it was an explosion and Sholmes was bleeding, shouldn't there be blood on this?
It was burning. Cauterized immediately.
Yeah, actually, that's a possibility.
It's been across the victim.
But we know he lost blood.
Internally.
We actually never found any evidence of that. Yeah, we have no evidence of him having lost blood.
Because we thought it was the calendar blood, then it might not be the calendar blood because it's the other crazy guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Egberts.
Eggert, yeah.
But the surgeon was saying that he did lose blood, though.
Oh.
Internally.
I don't know. Oh, look, there's
I
a
found
whole...
blood on the inside. Oh God, it's everywhere!
Stop it, old man, stop!
Ah, get a spoon!
No,
Oh.
no, that's where the blood lives.
Keep it in there!
Stop it!
Oh, look, there's a
Supposed
hole.
to go on the inside.
There's a hole here at the back. It doesn't look much like a bullet hole, but clearly something's ripped through the leather with great force.
Something must have pierced it somehow and left the hole behind.
Yes, it looks that way. Mr. Sholmes and his pouch both took a beating, didn't they? Anything else I should be looking at?
These glass vials are full of Hurley's homemade potions.
Homemade? Do they grant you mana?
Yes, but you can't handle his strongest potions.
No.
Like fingerprint powder to show up where people have touched things. And scent amplifying solution to identify the smell lingering on an object.
That's amazing.
They're all very easy to use. There's just one thing that you have to be careful about. They're all very flammable.
Mr. Sholmes is a walking bomb. Either he's passionate about finding out the truth or just oblivious to the dangers. Okay.
Yes.
It's probably the end of that. Alright, bye. Juror number 3! Wait, you're 3. Juror number 2. They said 3 in that thing! Okay, let's talk. Press, yes. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. We already read this.
Yeah.
What if I told you there was 3 bullets? How'd you feel then? I can prove it! Allow me to show you then. The 3rd bullet. Yeah.
The 3rd bullet!
There
Take that!
it is.
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Windibank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer?
Yeah, I have some questions for you too.
I can't see brown on brown.
Oh, interesting.
Where did you find that bullet?
It was lodged inside Mr. Shom's pocket.
What?
This pouch was removed from around Mr. Shom's waist before he was taken to hospital. And since then, it has been touched by no one.
Wait, I see a message in Discord.
Uh-oh.
He's be right back!
Wander, you wanted the judge?
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night?
Yes. As your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholes. It's clearly visible in his photographic print. Ah!
2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windybank, and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers.
An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each.
Ah!
But that must mean... That's
I
right.
can't look at the stereoscopically anymore.
We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
Oh!
4 bullets.
Order, order, order! While this submission examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built.
Yep.
As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination.
Oh, we don't even need them to change their opinion. This is just...
By Jupiter!
What?
Butterleaf, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once.
Jay, return to
Butterleaf lives. Hello.
We've gone through several judges so far.
Oh no! Stevenson, I will leave you. Witnesses! Oh god.
Right back
Where's
into
your
it,
rock
eh?
now?
Well,
Oh,
back
there's
in-
your rock.
There's the rock.
Oh, god, governor! Thank you. Were you listening to the proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination?
We was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with these tedious preamble. Simply answer one question. A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make him go. I
Oh,
didn't
oh.
make no number for the thing that you said.
Is
okay?
it one of yours?
No, go blimey, Governor, go
No,
blimey.
no, no.
Go blimey.
no.
Go blimey, Gov. Go blimey.
I'm
Not
sorry,
a
my eyes was moving. My eyes, I was stealing your lines again.
In that case, did you have an accomplice?
What? Hey, what? Never! This goalkeeper brothers ain't never worked alone.
It's just the 2 of us. That's our trademark.
How soon we forget poor Sulky.
Only 2 of the bullets were from the crime scene, originally from the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it?
No, I mean, that's an head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense.
Yes?
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The third bullet and the mysterious missing firearms. Whence did it come from?
Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture. A picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this third bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. They had a secret accomplice, they had another gun. It's nothing to do with them. Huh. I don't think it's 2. I feel like it could be 1 or 3.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it had nothing to do with them. Well, no, man, they were talking about how somebody was gonna string them up.
Oh yeah. No, it's 1 for sure then.
I'm gonna start with 1. Okay. On that night at Windibank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present, someone carrying a gun. I think that was right.
Objection!
Now there are dangers to be crushing this glass.
Don't
An accomplice, you say?
do it.
Pigs will.
Shut up.
Pixwell?
These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet, in all that time, there has been not a murmur of a third man. It is apparently a wraith-like being exists.
Ah.
I warned you. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed.
Okay, then tell me where the third gun is, asshole. Yeah!
In your possession.
Oh, yeah, great.
The prosecution demand answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime.
Okay.
And secondly, the identity of this suspicious character.
Okay.
Okay.
The Skulkins are lying, I know that. Clearly hiding a xenomorph. How can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel?
I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal this person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands.
So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to have something you seem to think you have something to say. This promised to be interesting.
I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it'll make a difference.
In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question and the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene?
That would be this, sir. Take that. The evidence is right here, in this portfolio.
By Jove, that portfolio again, is it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific.
Hey.
You claim one of these blood samples proves the presence of a third intruder. Well, which one is it?
That would be the same one we looked at this time. Take that.
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet in the middle of the calendar.
That's a bloodstain, my lord.
A bloodstain? I knew there was xenomorphs in town.
Green blood. Curious even for you. It's a court to understand the intruder has some unhuman creature.
It's
Some sort of foreign alien.
exactly right. It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. By the great detective!
New invention, stop. Not yet heard in stories, stop.
It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fog sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color.
Different elements of people's blood?
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see. It's because it's made up of different elements. By seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is.
You know,
So,
yes, go on, you
people
first.
eat?
Hmm?
Like, if you eat a pickle, you get green blood, but if you drink Kool-Aid, you get blue?
What is a Kool-Aid, my lord?
Oh, no.
Well,
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
it really is too bad that there's no blood on that pouch, because that would really help.
Yeah.
Oh, what? That brings a whole new extra dimension to looking at blood.
Talk of blood in courtroom, stop. Very exciting, stop.
I'm excited.
What do you want about, miss? As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windebeck.
Ha! Striking blue.
Yes. So you see, the green color of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shot.
Now hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it?
No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windebank was killed, and also, we were there earlier that day.
No.
By golly.
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
Then whose blood is it?
Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries, which means it must be the blood of somebody else, the third intruder, in fact.
Objection.
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder?
It's Jojo Man. Take that!
What the hell is a JoJo?
Don't ask. The man's name is Eggert Benedict, supposedly.
Eggert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel?
He paid a visit to Windebank's pawnbroker on the afternoon before the incident took place.
When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession.
That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force.
Broker.
Yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand it to be returned at once.
Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you Vastral. And needless to say, any music box disc too.
Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Jay?
Well, can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, swing the bank for a print showing the fella.
Oh.
Taken from one of his red-handed recorder gubbinses.
Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windebank that morning. Now, is there anything interesting in this shot that I should be looking at?
Oh, is there maybe a difference between the three photos now?
I'm not seeing
I don't
anything.
know, but look at that dog.
Do look at that dog. That's a great dog.
Get a load of that dog.
And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice?
Ha! Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin?
Man, never seen the geezer before in me life.
On me life, Gov. On me life. Never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with this assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice.
Yeah, let me keep going.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence.
I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is.
This is the last piece of evidence. Oh, really? I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it, kicking and screaming, into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. It's this. Take that! As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windibanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe.
I like that you keep saying Egbert.
Oh, dang it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Eggman.
This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
Eggman Robotnik.
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. I was following that, it was following this that a minor incident occurred. He had a gun. I forgot he had a gun.
But of course, here's the disc for you.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
Prove it. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal.
Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions all over its surface. These protrusions cause Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now.
Good, there's a blood stain, is it? But it's red.
You're right, Your Honor, but I'll change that. My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom.
Using my trusty fucker gun.
Yes, which has a name now. And we added the results to this portfolio. One.
I say.
Yes.
It's green.
Lady, that is
yeah.
telecommunication?
Yeah.
It's exactly the same color as the blood on the calendar.
I'm expected to remember their numbers now, sir. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling... Pardon?
Wouldn't number 5 be the Russian man? One?
No, that's
No, he's 6.
6.
He's 6?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was in Windibanks earlier in the day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night.
It's just as real as the name that he gave us.
It's true.
Look at the breakdown.
Talk about his wallet here. My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore the gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection.
This has gone on for long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law.
Don't do it.
Too bad. Herlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court in the land. Do you expect us to take it seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence.
I knew he was gonna have a problem with this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not been peer-reviewed by anyone.
He's not wrong to have a problem with this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But the pretty colors.
So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to your successfully proving that no other blood in the world could turn the same color.
Wow. Whoa!
Leg! And pray, do you not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it?
Catch a dog wheelage. I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' investigation isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over here said before.
The judge? Or wait, or the surgeon? No, the judge.
About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination.
Ah!
In other words,
It's not over.
the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Oh.
Good grief! What did you just say, young girl?
And in the summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Herbie's invention.
Ah.
At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right.
Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno.
I like that we've just decided that Van Zeeks' opinion does not matter.
Not for now.
Yeah.
Not for now.
Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with.
I thought you knew already.
I did.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
After that shrewd précis of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd.
It's been absurd! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leadings on this matter. Do you believe the color? As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Oh.
Not guilty.
Oh.
Not
guilty.
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 What?
Not guilty.
Oh.
No. Oh, so you were saying guilty.
I win.
I guess the Doctor and the Telegraph are the most scientifically accurate people, so they don't like unknown things showing up.
I guess that makes sense.
I guess.
Yeah.
2 call guilty and 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage.
Me.
The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
On what grounds?
So we'll get new prosecution.
I don't like this.
You should see the rude gestures I'm giving you right now, Zeeks.
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to their real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. The trial will continue.
Oh! Ah!
Good.
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation.
Mm-hmm.
The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What?
The name the gentleman gave for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false.
Oh, I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man was there that night.
Juror number 5.
What?
Can I
Could
say something?
could I say something?
Who was that, please? Who spoke?
Oh,
It was me, my lord.
juror number 5?
What do you have to say, madam?
If possible, Inspector.
Me, ma'am?
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown.
Ah, right, yes. This one you mean, Mr. Benedict?
Yes. There is no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5, you don't mean to say. You know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What?
No!
Good gracious! Order! Juror number 5, how on earth?
I am a communications officer, stop.
Stop!
As we can
No,
clearly
you.
see.
The gentleman in the photograph is... Stop. Also a
Right.
communications officer, stop. He works in my office. Stop.
What? Also, the first stop was unnecessary. It's the same
Yeah.
sentence.
Dramatic pause. Stop.
Not how stops work.
A very talented operator, in fact. Stop.
They seem to hire based on hair.
He should be in the communication station now, stop. Tapping away on the telegraph, stop.
I mean, supposedly he's injured, so I don't know if he'd still be there, right? This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at London's communications station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zeeks, if you please.
I don't.
Well, then make the necessary arrangements with all haste.
Do I have to, my lord?
You do! The court will recess for an hour. I will be in the jungle gym.
Oh. I'll meet you
When the
there.
new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the witness's testimony.
I will take the swings.
Inspector Gregson.
Yes, my lord?
Race you to the slide. I should hear from you specifically about the events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question.
Foursquare tournament, who's in?
Oh, me!
Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
I'll take
Very
the
well.
seesaw.
Uh-oh.
Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Classic seesaw.
Do you care to join me during number 6?
Excellent bit.
Thank you, Gomez.
supreme bit. To be continued. Yes, please save.
How to
something.
ruin a serious moment in 5 seconds.
Wee!
And that's the first hour of the stream. So much happened. Oh my god, April.
Just a little.
Ah, Gina, how you holding up? You still? Come on. I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Ginny! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything?
What's the point, eh? Why go through all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me?
Because we're your friend.
What?
Well, you saw it, that picture.
What picture?
Ah, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder. Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure.
It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that is gonna think I did it, ain't they?
Well, I won't pretend it was a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court.
Surely you've gotta have your doubts about me now. You can't think I'm still innocent.
Of course I can.
Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night.
Huh?
I know, a novel idea. Bruno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still. We'd like to hear it from you too.
Alright then.
Oh my god.
It was after we had dinner together at your place, right, Iris? And we had a chat up in your office, didn't we?
Yes, I remember.
After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped off and went down to the street to the 2 to 1 to Winderbank's place. I had to know.
220. Oh, is that the number
Oh,
of his
to-
address?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Slipped out. I don't know.
If Iris's story was there or not, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Ooh.
I don't know what it's about or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in it that Sholmes doesn't like. Something what he don't want people reading. So that's why you lied to Iris about sticking it in lug with Winderbank for safekeeping. At least, that's what I thought at the time.
So you broke into Winderbank's.
I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea that all of that was going to kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you'd like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick. And that's when.
Probably Winderbank. Oh,
What do you think you're doing?
I nearly died, I did. The next thing I knew,
hmm?
I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like, I don't know what.
You were threatening him, really?
I think she just grabbed it out of
scared.
panic.
Winderbank.
You know the girl was in here this afternoon. Didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery.
The mantle script. Have you got it here? Did Sholmes leave a load of papers with you? A story?
I beg your pardon.
The Hound of the something or another? If it's here, I want to see it.
I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers.
I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to see its ear, that's all.
Oh, you want to see it, do you?
I want to know if Sholmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see, and I'll go.
Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you?
So then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door, and we both went inside. And it was there, all right. The mantle script. Sholmes was in line after all.
Oh, you did an old justice check with me, Ginny. Or for me.
Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop.
The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes.
What was that noise? Someone's breaking in.
Dear me, is there some burglars convention here tonight I don't know about?
I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry.
I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back?
Oh, well, I'll come with you and...
Now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances.
And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back and out into the shop. I am back in the storeroom, like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. I started to think I should help, see? So, I was just about to go out into the storeroom myself when...
2 shots.
I had a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then there he was, right at my feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it quick as you like.
Because
That's a slang I've never heard before.
Yeah. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windibank might come for you.
Yeah. So I went to grab the old cove's gun. Figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windibank was a goner. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden. Kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing.
That must be when you passed out, Gina.
If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive.
Did you tell the police everything you just told us?
Of course I did. But they don't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me.
It'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real culprits through the mill.
Why didn't they believe her? Everything she just said was perfectly reasonable and sound.
I mean, they have a previous history of her lying a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. She's up against 2
And
other
there's
thieves.
definitely enough evidence to put her away.
Whatever.
She was holding a gun and was found in the same room as the dead body.
I guess.
Yeah, there are a lot of evidence to, like, be suspicious.
Mm.
That cove what was there in the afternoon. That Edgar Benedict. I still remember how he looked at me. Like I was nothing. He was there that night.
don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Jay, we're getting a lot of background noise from you suddenly.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
We'll go in a bit.
Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty.
You what?
You can leave it all to Runo's capable hands now, Ginny.
Mr. Naruto,
Yes?
how come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGill did. We told you a pack of lies. And you got the bog trotter off with him. Even though he was a killer.
No, I could never forget that.
Oh,
I did what I thought was best at the time, but the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what.
but what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook, for all you know.
I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial.
You were?
Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe me if it wasn't me would believe it wasn't me who'd done it.
Oh, Runo.
But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me and was prepared to defend me. My best friend.
Oh, wow. You're back. Yunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest.
I was so happy I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me, not completely. But I was wrong. Ugh. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute unwavering belief in him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first.
What are you saying?
I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down.
Even though I'm a diver and a no-good liar.
You're not like McGilded. I know that.
Huh?
That's right. You're our friend, Ginny.
Iris!
We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust.
Yes,
That's really all we need to know.
exactly.
Mr. Naruto, I
Defending Strong and her legal representative, I have come to shoot the moment. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head back to the courtroom immediately.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Good.
I'd been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last. The final chapter. The final battle. Wish me luck, Susato-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. Another should be continued? Or just straight into it?
Gonna go straight into it.
Straight into it. It is
Yeah.
April, my dudes.
Happy April.
Dude, nice April.
I hereby call this court into order and to resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade.
Jay.
Jay.
Uh-oh.
Now, Jay. It's Gina. You've been doing good with Vantique stuff.
But now you made him nervous.
No, you got me. I got stuck on the way out. Pronounced Jim. Shut up!
Lord
I told you made him nervous.
Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
Yes. Good.
JPEG Lestrade.
The subpoena was delivered to the communication station, where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
I see. Let us turn our attention to the Inspectors Gregson's proceedings of the case here heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bullet in your report is a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, well, I can only apologize, my lord.
And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes up for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake.
Oh.
My lord! The subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Eggert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon, and certainly not like this. Yo.
How do they keep widening the bench? Do they have like bring out pieces and Jenga them together? Or...
Thank you for complying with the court's subpoena at such short notice, sir.
But of course, my lord. As an upstanding member of the London Society, it is my pleasure to oblige.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Ashley Graydon, Communication Officer.
Graydon and I both work at the London Central Communication Station.
I believe that that's his real name, because it said AG on his cane, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now perhaps somebody could kindly explain to me what this is all about. You were appraised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume.
Ash Gray. Ooh, yeah, that's good.
That's a nice attorney name right there.
Yes, I was. Something to do with the murder that took place at the pawnbrokers on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. This is really beyond a joke, you know?
Very well, without further delay, the court will bear your testimony now, Mr. Gregson. You'll respond to the accusation made against you under oath. Wow.
Gladly, my lord. Gladly.
The dance move's really necessary.
Banned.
You say dancing is not necessary.
Accusation.
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Even if certain parties who were present claimed that my blood was found at the scene.
Speaking of which, my guy, you're acting awfully chill for somebody who's apparently lost a lot of blood.
What blood?
Yeah.
Some Scaramouth detective's homebrew tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
I guess Sherlock seems like he's doing all right by now.
Who's Sherlock?
Right.
So you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say, I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld. It would seem we had the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today.
By golly.
Your coworker's up there, dude.
I know. How long am I expected to be detained here?
If following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately.
Good. Then shall be away in time for afternoon tea. It's a small consolation at least.
Let us not hold up Mr. Grayson any longer than necessary, counsel.
Grayson?
Proceed with the cross-examination.
Who's Grayson?
So, we meet again, Mr. Eggert Benedict, if that is indeed your fake name. Or is it Mr. Grayton?
My apologies. You are...
Don't lie! Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met.
If you say so, Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So...
Sean, shut the fuck up.
Oh.
Wah!
Hey, well, I don't want
Oh,
this.
thank you.
Oh.
There's a bomb inside.
Oh! No! Damn, quick.
I trust we can conclude this quickly.
Put on hat.
I do not want to hold your flashy hat while we do.
That's why you should wear it.
Throws it to Van Zeeks. Here, dunk your wine on that.
Gladly. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking service from time to time.
Oh,
I forgot
right.
we read this.
Yep, we read this.
Yeah, we read this.
I would like to hold it, please. Yes, we even met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a very different name at the time. It was Mr. Eggert Benedict, I believe. Tell me, what made you...
The witness is here to testify about the event that took place that night.
No, this is garbage. Van Zeeks, please.
No, it's true. It is why he's here. He's under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions.
You can't be serious!
Badgering the witness.
I'll badger you.
Try me. Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question.
So he's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort to not give anything away? This could be tricky. Alright, back to it then. Hold it. Have you seen these two men before?
This pair?
Hey.
No, I don't associate with criminals.
Said by a man who introduced himself as Eggert Benedict.
I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in black. This is a farce. Oh! Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in a British court anyway? Well, needless to say.
Hold it. Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir?
That is past the hour of which I would normally retire. Suddenly, I was not in company of these rapscallions.
Nobody asked you that. You're able to... Actually, did I? I don't know. You're able to prove that.
We're insinuating.
Objection!
Listen carefully, my learned Nipponese friend. For you appear to be in a gross misapprehension at this point.
What do you mean?
The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove the assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness.
Fulfill. Typo or English?
I don't
You
know.
decide.
Maybe English.
Oh, ha! Oh.
The worst. A silent victory with thanks. God, I hate you. Talk to me.
You know you love me.
I absolutely do not. Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that.
You love to hate me.
You know,
That's
I can't fight that. Mr. Sholmes' chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such.
I don't enjoy thinking about you.
I wish you could have an Edgar Kubo's face. But I'm only human.
Yeah.
But I'm not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I?
Yeah,
Veins, veins, veins.
You are a
Veins.
xenomorph. You're a xenomorph, and I can prove it.
How can you be sure the blood is mine?
Green.
It could equally be the blood of one of these two full miscreants.
All right, everybody start bleeding. Let's go. Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Sholmes' chemical is able to differentiate.
Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Sholmes character anyway?
Liar. Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective.
So even you are unable to bring yourself to say great detective.
I'll do it.
A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we?
Hi. You want to talk about something? Excuse me. Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin?
What? Me?
No, Mr. Skulkin next to you. No.
Well, I've had enough dealing with this. How many times I gotta tell you?
You're
Yes,
not next to him anymore.
I know you're not Big Bruv Skulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin. Hey, Jay.
You what?
Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind?
You can read thoughts.
Would you care to share the thought with the court? Yeah, share, dude.
Hey, me thoughts. I ain't got none of them. Must have been him.
You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? I did it. Damn.
Not notice, nothing. I was just thinking. If we waved his arms around that much more, it'll open up the wound again, that's all.
Oh my god, Nash.
Wow.
You
Are a dumbass.
amazing.
You're
Thank
not
you.
very
You are
smart.
Credit to this court.
Sorry, what wound? You want to tell me some more about that?
They are both the most inept and while most helpful witnesses we've ever had.
Oh my god, Nash.
I love you.
Nash.
Well, we took the bullet, of course. That was only 2 days ago. It ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was waiting for you. Oh, it spells!
Oh my god. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that?
I'm deaf.
Oh, that's convenient. Your
Defeated.
comrade is worried about you, it seems.
Then how'd you know to answer?
On account of your injured arm. Wait, arm?
I saw your lips moving.
Oh, because he's holding his arm. Okay.
My lord.
Oh, yes, Mr. Grayson.
No.
Who's
No.
Grayson?
Who's Grayson?
Oh, I thought when you said that before, you meant because he's Egbert Benedict.
No,
I see.
his name is Graydon.
That's dumb.
Not every name you disapprove of is dumb.
If I disapprove it, I think it's dumb.
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I wouldn't expect to. I shouldn't expect to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations.
Are you gonna let that slide, Judge? You really? We know that someone other than the judge was hit by a bullet at the scene of. What did I say?
Judge?
You said the judge.
Sorry, I was thinking about the judge. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago, and not the judge.
I've been shot!
No, you are not.
Oh,
You're,
no!
Color's
you're-
the blood!
Oh my God, he's bleeding! What?
What color is it?
It's red. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. I mean, okay, sure. Perhaps you'd allow a court official to examine your arm, sir. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain.
I'd rather not. No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever to link me to these common thieves.
I'd like it if he was hit in the shoulder, specifically. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit any such invasion of my privacy. As I already said, I'm completely uninvolved in this. I never had anything to do with the pawnbrokery where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim you have nothing to do whatsoever with the Windy Banks pawnbrokery?
My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
Are you mocking me?
No, never.
I'm mocking you! Hold it. Never had anything to do with it? You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident.
Obviously, I am not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I am currently on the lookout for an armchair to furnish my study.
Objection! No, you were there to redeem an article.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I figured you'd have something to say here. Sorry, do you have something to add, Inspector?
Yeah. Come again? Yeah, come again, Sunshine?
You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector? That afternoon.
Well, yes. I do remember meeting yourself in the pawnbrokers that afternoon. You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, if I recall.
And at the time, this witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article.
Well now,
Why are you being shifty about this? What?
I'm afraid I don't remember too clearly.
What? But you must.
I'm not gonna lie and pretend pardon me.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie and pretend I remember something I don't.
What's going on here?
Grex, you showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in the Windy Banks.
Yes, of course.
Indeed. And the gentleman pictured bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say.
Exactly, which proves that Mr. Graydon was in the shop on the afternoon in question.
At no point have I denied that fact.
Eh.
I merely entered the shop to peruse the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Nothing more.
This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? Is he being blackmailed? That's all he's going to say on the matter, is it?
What do you think, Runo?
I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware of that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away.
The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think that the more he says, the better.
Well, at least I managed to prise a little more information from these witnesses' lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers.
Yes, they were the key to it after all.
So he says he had nothing to do with Windibanks. Well, we know that that's not true.
Perhaps now should be a good time to have a proper look through the court record.
Good idea. You never know what tiny scrap of information could become a valuable weapon. Alright, so it's almost definitely going to be the bit where he says he has nothing to do with it. Which was this. Okay. Where the man was killed. Present. What?
Present the music disc?
I guess that makes sense, but I can't prove it's his blood. Can I?
No. But...
I'll give it... You know what? I'm going to save. I'm going to save. Hang on. Give me a save.
Yeah, that's a good
When was
idea.
the last time you saved?
It's just now. Just now was when I saved. Here it is. This is a save.
Right now.
It's there. Excuse me, sir. I'd like you to have a look at this music disc, please. Wrong. That one. Objection! Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon?
Fuck you.
This disc was, until the day of the murder, in pawn in Mr. Windibank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course, wasn't it, Mr. Graydon?
As I've reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life.
It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on the disc.
Ah, yes. Resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
Why would you guess that? But yes, that's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of a scratch.
Good gracious, indeed it must.
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow the court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse us to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc.
Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you.
What? What is the meaning of this?
So you admit it now? You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant?
Order, order. Well, Mr. Graydon.
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse.
What are you trying to say?
It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of a pawn?
What?
It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now.
Are we gonna just present like
what
the back?
songs on it?
Yeah. Also, like on the back of the disc, it has McGilda's name, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What back?
Backs are a myth.
Oh,
As you
object
wish.
permanence.
Though I'm quite assured that it has nothing to do whatsoever with the pawnbroker's murder.
More of that. The disc.
There's a note on the disc saying for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question.
More like you.
I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGill, did you say? The famous London philanthropist? Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder?
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Good lord! Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGilden and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that is correct.
Seem to think on that. Order! Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear the name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windibanks.
It's funny that Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windibanks in order to get his hands on McGilded's disc for some reason.
Someone would do that?
No.
Counsel, will you commence your cross-examination, please?
Yeah, man, you got it.
Please, could you?
Okay,
Much appreciated.
sure.
Pretty please.
Dude, hold it.
No.
Oh, shoot. Would you
I'll
care?
keep continuing my testimony right now.
That's fine. Continue to talk. Would you care to explain how this belongs to you?
As you will observe, a communication officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
Juror number 5, can you confirm?
So you see, I have a little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbroker's trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand. Which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question.
You claim that was your overcoat?
Obviously. And in my haste, I clearly forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet, there's a note on it that reads, "For McGilded."
Why is the phrase music box disc kind of hard to say? I don't know.
It's hard to go from ox to disc.
Because X is KS sound, and then disc has an SK sound.
Yeah.
Yeah! I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box disc. Music box music.
See? You see?
Well, there was music box music.
Still.
I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city, and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant for that area.
So the disc in question...
It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Gina didn't mention that. Welcome to Sap's Hour, where Saps has 3 characters.
Yeah.
Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because Mr. McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury. Oh.
Oh dear. This is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being.
Ticket.
Oh yes, ticket. Hold it! So you're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag?
That's right. Despite being mindful of the danger when walking in the insalubrious areas of her quite frequent.
Objection! Miss Lestrade did no such thing.
Well, of course you would take that stance, but the girl is a regular offender.
You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Windibanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend, it's a veritable font of nonsense.
Nonsense?
I concur with the prosecution. Nonsense.
Oh.
Counsel, you will refrain from nonsense in this way. Is that clear?
Yes, my lord.
Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be.
He just said no nonsense. Let's talk.
Fuck you.
Have you, had you ever been to Windibanks before?
Only once for the purpose of pawning something. But like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So then you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket. You chased after her, is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course. Such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbroker at once, in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place.
Ah, he can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this.
In the end, of course, it's...
No. Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it?
That's right. That was the very man. Apparently the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence.
Yeah, let's hear about it, dude. Excuse me. Is something wrong, Inspector?
What do you mean?
Gregson. The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way.
No, it didn't. It's nothing. Leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilded's possessions?
I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine.
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets?
Yes, exactly. You should know all about that.
Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life. Yet he had a dark side too.
Where are you going with this, Van Zeeks?
I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, aren't they?
That's enough. Couples like me have duties to carry out that we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have a great faith in you, Inspector.
Yeah, now you listen here. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first.
What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here. Were they roommates?
Well, it will appear that the inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, Let us return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord.
Okay, so before I hit anything, that was the fourth statement. Okay, just in case we need to go back to that. Hold it! But perhaps you'd like, perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items?
No, not at all.
Oh.
A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelf was common or garden bric-a-brac.
Cool. In that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's disc.
Have you not been listening, man? Even if I had wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it had been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in.
So there was nothing of McGilded's left in the shop that night? Nothing this man must have been after? No, that's not true. I wonder if that's really true. It's not.
Bruno, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm tired to see that irritatingly assured expression of this crumble.
Yeah. McGilded slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Windibank's. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket.
There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying it through his pearly white teeth. Probably pearly.
Yeah. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilded as well. That's why.
Early.
I miss her.
We have Iris though. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. I mean, they're completely different.
But Gregsy's being very strange about all this.
There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. Well, it sounds like you want me to focus on this last one. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night. So, oh, sure. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we have something in here that talked about, hold on, which one of these was it? Mr. Windibank appears to have used the back of this photograph to write out a redemption ticket. He's written it very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so he had to use anything he had on hand. It's hard to know what's the front and what's the reverse side now. Okay.
Oh yeah, it said there, one small box, didn't it?
Did it say that? Yeah, one small box. There it is. It's got to be that. I'm just going for it. Do it. Objection. This disc was deposited at Windibank's on Magnus McGilded's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again, and in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night.
Objection! Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true.
What?
I don't know if that's the one you meant to use, but it worked. Mr. McGilded had another article in pawn at Windibank's, as this second pawnbroker's ticket proves.
Ah!
There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in Windibank's pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one, together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers.
Ugh!
This is the second ticket, is it?
What had the man deposited?
The article description reads, one small box.
He felt small.
Oh, a rather vague description, it seems to me.
Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbroker with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box?
I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect that you did.
This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft.
That's a good point.
Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some reason, this Creighton fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks?
I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from the Windybank's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it.
Back.
Good gracious!
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please.
Yes, sir.
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Oh, we're finally getting to the other camera.
Yeah, I was wondering about
Hairless
that.
Red had it recorded again. Yeah. Also, welcome back.
Hello.
As previously explained using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with the automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windybank received his customers. And the other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited.
According to the information on this ticket, the gilded small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident, at 9 p.m., 13th of April to be precise. Which means it would have been on the shelves of forfeited items on the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on the 15th of April.
The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear.
And then here we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident.
Let me see them side by side.
You have to ask juror number 3 about that.
I see. So we have 2 pictures to compare.
Oh my
If
God.
only there
Oh my
was a
God.
method in which to do that.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Do you understand
Please
the principle?
explain to me this method in
I'm
great
so
detail.
happy to. So, I need 2 pictures of the same scene, please. Please.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
This
here.
sounds familiar.
Here I go. Alright.
Though I must say that placing them side by side leaves me cold.
I'm trying to figure out if it's just. I think it's the cloth. The cloth and the things on top of it. Which, I
What
mean,
cloth?
the red cloth that's basically dead center in the middle of the shot. I think that and all of the items on top of it are 3D.
Ow, my eyes.
No, wait, no. There's another one in front of the picture frame. There's a
Here I go again.
black
Wait, but-
beam.
Jay,
Front of the
Yes?
picture frame.
are you able to spot the difference though?
No, shut your mouth.
Right
Last
across
night.
in your eyes.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
making it for lost time.
Where
You
is
know
this
what?
black bin?
You know what? I think Jay's right. I think he's more onto something than I was. That little circular dark round tin
Canister.
directly to the left of the stereoscope. You see it?
Oh yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
moved.
it's moved.
Yep, it's definitely moved. That's what they want us to look at. You're up, Judge.
Oh, whoa. I said that.
Oh, did you?
I'm so
Okay.
cold.
My
Very,
fault.
very chilly. It's brr. Dear me, that's going to make my head ache.
Obviously, Scotland Yard would consider theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life.
So, your men have already compared these two prints thoroughly, Inspector, and you missed nothing?
Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these two photographic prints. And the odd's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both.
In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbroker in the night in question. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy.
Came out of nowhere. I don't believe it. If I could have just shown that he'd stolen McGilden's pawn box,
Ha ha ha.
I might have been able to break him down at last.
Dance moves are so dumb.
Get him, Susato. Ghost of Susato.
She astral projects herself in the courtroom.
Ghost trick.
You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking.
Uh-huh.
Guess once what I've been thinking.
What?
Stereoscope.
Okay. What?
So, counsel, on the night of the evidence, in light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that in fact, in the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know.
Do you?
Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these two photographic prints somewhere? I'm gonna point out a discrepancy. Here I go.
Big man.
I wasn't sure at first, but there is a clear discrepancy between these two prints.
What?
You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy in which you speak.
Okay, take that.
What?
Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them.
What?
When you view the two pictures stereoscopically, a single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box. You're telling me that the man who was blocking my sight in all of those shots had nothing to do with anything. Are you
Red
serious?
herring!
Damn it!
Let me wait. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's good.
By Jove, you're right! How extraordinary! My eyes.
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGillen's small box was indeed not stolen from Windibanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting that the small box originally disposed by Mr. McGilden is in fact...
Positive.
Yes! The very same small box I just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was?
But
So box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means quite simply that nothing has changed.
that may be true, but... Alright, Miss Gilded's box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? It changes everything. Yeah, of course it does. I believe this changes everything about the case.
How can that possibly be?
The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windibanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can't possibly be relevant to this trial.
Jurors, tell me, his opinion doesn't matter again, quick!
No, only a summation examination that is the case.
Shh, don't listen to him, it's fine.
The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Van Zeeks.
Yeah!
You're not the jury! He asked for the jury!
Mouthleaf, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination.
You're right, Graydon, this dance is very fun.
God, there's still 45 minutes left of the stream.
I know, so much has
So
happened!
much has happened!
Yeah, it's exciting.
And I still have my wine bottle.
And we're gonna stare at each other for the whole time that they bring that evidence here.
In silence.
Everybody's really angry.
We should have a report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth.
To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing.
I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zeeks.
This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponese specialty, it would seem.
What are you trying to say?
He likes ninjas.
Well, who can blame
My
him?
secret!
Naruto fan.
Believe it! My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning.
Datebayo!
That this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbroker. You're a fan too, my lord.
You can hear him
Best.
trying not to laugh through the whole line.
Daddy.
Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. I got another glass.
I moved to confiscate that.
Too bad. Mine.
Damn.
You get a sword.
I wish.
You
Drag
also
out
get a
the
sword!
monk.
Give me wine then.
It's a cane. You can prove it isn't. Give me evidence that it isn't a cane.
Alright, well.
Can we just imagine for a second what it would be like if this guy had a low alcohol tolerance and was getting more and more drunk?
Just getting sloppy.
Oh man!
I learned that for these friends.
It's clear that you're a bastard.
Oh, wow.
I'm throwing this cup at your face.
Oh no. Did you say this yet?
No.
Okay.
If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilda perished 2 months ago, merely after conclusion of this trial. In a trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society. His reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. Give me a second of you to grab myself a drink, please, Graydon. The articles of this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. I actually was scared with his voice. A black overcoat that just happened to have the music box disc in one of his pockets. And a small box. I assure you, I would not accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me.
You know, that does make it look rather modest.
It's not as if it was gold or jewels, is it? Thank goodness knows Mr. McGilda's rich enough.
I'll stab you!
Oh, is it cash in the pawnbroker?
The prosecution's argument is undeniably compelling.
Agassiz?
It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its arguments. Ha!
Stop that.
Tasted bad.
Stop drinking it.
No, I'm addicted.
Oh, shit. That sucks. I'm sorry, dude.
Just like
Just-
coffee.
To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by its fine citizens could have.
Well, Counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc or the box are in any tangible way related to the case?
Well, let's keep it
What's
up.
the matter, Reno? We know that they're related, don't we? We both have, they're both vital pieces of evidence.
Yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGillen's true character, and we know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all of that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGillen's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. That the defense's argument was flawed. Do it then, based on false information.
Double jeopardy and he's dead.
But, Ginny!
I mean, listen, would you rather that her be accused of that or murder?
Let's find something else before we go to that one.
Fine. And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury.
Told you!
My god.
Ginny!
Could it be that Van Zeeks knows? Is that why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything?
But maybe... this could be a great opportunity for us.
Sorry? What do you mean, Iris?
Well, what is it that you always say, Reno? Sooner or later, the truth comes out. Every time.
Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGill deposited with Mr. Windibank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chances of winning this case. What's the right thing to do here? Have Gina testify! My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal.
Oh, what proposal, Counsel?
While the court awaits the arrival of Mr. McGilded's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand.
The defendant? To what end?
It's to do with the various articles deposited at Windibanks by Mr. McGilded, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question once and for all.
Well, well. Things are becoming interesting. I presume you consider the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused standing. And indeed, your own.
I have.
Good for you.
Lord Van Zeeks, would you be able to compare? No. Would you care to explain that last remark?
The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself.
Very well, if you have no objections. So the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
You got it! You caught it!
At least you caught it.
I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't finish their name, though.
Lestrade!
Oh, you're not even... fine, fine.
What? What? What?
You didn't correct yourself. You only realized you said it wrong.
How do you say your name?
Whatever.
Madam Peanut Butter.
Huh?
Your witnesses, Jiff. Your witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice.
Adieu. I have no hat anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then I shall bid you a good day.
I'm not giving it back.
Wait.
I know I said I didn't want
mine
it.
now.
But
You,
I'm not giving it back.
You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Mr. Lestrade testifies.
Mm.
As you wish.
All right then, Gina. It's time. I know this will be hard, but please, put your faith in me here.
Good luck, Reno.
Thanks, Iris. The articles that Mr. McGilded had deposited in Windibank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago.
Yes, I remember this young lady being brought before me on that trial as well.
That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilded.
The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now here we all are again. The same players in that trial facing each other once more. You know, there's one exception, but he's dead.
Supposedly.
A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend.
What if after this happens, he's suddenly totally cool to us in every scene past this? That would be something. Allow me to recap the events of 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilded. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged, that the murder in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight into the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilded died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances.
Burn. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on. As indeed does the omnibus murder itself.
Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor this small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings.
Miss Lestrade? Would you tell the court now, please? What really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean?
I don't know what you mean. I already said all what I know.
And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important.
But
Remember, little girl. If it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts. You have a little credibility to lose.
At least you're honest.
Ginny, don't listen to him! Please, you have to trust Bruno now!
Iris,
Trust in him that trusts in you!
Mm-hmm.
We're on your side!
all right then. I'll talk.
It's the right choice, Gina.
Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it.
I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what else is happening here. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilded's pawned articles and this extraordinary case of the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth A commodity sorely lacking in your original statements.
This is it then. Everything's going to come out. Like Van Zeek said, this could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. Now, out of curiosity, has anybody shook down Graydon? Because I don't want him pulling out anything funny.
My cane doubles as a sword.
Not what I meant, but okay.
Truth is, that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard the scream from over me, and that pair on the roof deck went out to call the cops. That's when McGilded slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what he'd seen or heard.
Good job.
Good grief, this is outrageous! What you just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago.
As you say, my lord. Can you please indict Beppo?
Then there's every chance I may have adjusticated in error in McGildic's trial. It sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes.
Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The action of the accused in that trial, of this witness, and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable.
I don't believe it.
The whole trial was a farce, it's all lies?
McGilded went back to the court, just like that pickpocket.
Don't forget that lawyer for the years.
You're wrong, the lot of you. Mr. Naraodo, the lawyer there, he didn't know nothing about it.
Humbug!
I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that?
He really stitched up everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get the man off scot-free! I am a doctor!
Unforgivable. Stop. The lies have to stop. Stop.
Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of McGilded's pawned articles must be brought to light.
Very well, my learned student friend. Given the depths of calamity you have just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing.
Words fail me. The situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, my lord.
I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial.
Of course, my lord.
Blimey, Mr. Naraodo.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Do you think Strongheart set us up? He made us take that. He made us defend on that trial, basically.
He did.
Hmm.
It's like, this looks like a good patsy.
Let's talk. And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats.
Yeah, that's right. Pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all.
Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain that you claim Mr. McGilded was the sole passenger, did you not?
False testimony, my lord.
That's what he told me I had to say.
Yeah.
Excuse?
Oh.
Excuse?
Huh? What?
What's happening over here? Hang on.
Hey!
You just keep
Too
Stop
doing
it.
little cozy.
do whatever you gotta. But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances?
Could I have some fish and chips?
I don't know.
No.
Give me some too. I want some. Both of you. I don't care who gives it to me. Continue.
Now.
But I did hear him talking a lot.
You can press them. I know I can press them, but would that be fine? What happens if I just hit A button when they're not doing anything? Excuse me. What are you doing? Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Great?
Look back slowly.
Inspector, Mr. Graydon!
Whoa! Blimey! Trying to give me a heart attack?
You have been whispering to each other for quite some time now. Tell us, what is the discussion about? This is interesting. So, now I'm curious, what would have happened if I did this in other situations where it didn't quite matter? I don't know.
Discussion? This fella? Pull the other one, sunshine. You think I've got anything to talk about with a shady gent like this?
And I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine.
Lovers quarrel. Never
But
mind.
they've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating.
You'll kindly refrain from talking amongst yourselves when the witnesses is having testimony.
Yes, sorry, my lord.
What are those two talking about?
Mr. Strahd, continue with your testimony, please.
Okay, let's talk. Hold it. Was the disc you saw this disc?
Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the cove lying on the floor.
Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps?
I don't know, but McGilded picked it up pretty smartish. And then he sat the cove with the knife in his belly up on the seat.
What did he say to you at the time?
He told me not to say a word about what I'd seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he was looking at me, I thought, if I didn't go along with it, I'd get stuck with that knife too. And then he started asking me a load of questions. Like what my name was and where I lived and all that. He asked me about being a diver too.
But after a while, what had happened in that carriage was noticed.
Yeah, that's right. First there was a kind of rapping noise.
Hold it! There were two gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe.
That's right. I must have looked down through the skylight and noticed the cove with the knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled the horses and when they screamed, the driver pulled up the horses and McGilded got me out of sight.
Out of sight? Well,
Back under the seat where I started off. And once the carriage came to a halt, the two coves from the roof ran off to fetch the slops.
If they immediately left to fetch the police, it would appear that they were entirely unrelated to the incident.
So that left McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene.
Yeah. Only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I heard the cabin door open and a voice from outside.
the driver, yes. He also testified in the trial, I believe.
You.
Beppo!
Beppo!
A fellow who went by the name Beppo, if memory preserves.
You
It's
jerk.
so cold.
He deserves it now.
Mm-hmm. What did McGilded and the driver say to each other?
I don't know what happened and stuff like that mainly.
Hold it. That pawn shop obviously being Windibanks on Baker Street.
Just a moment, Counsel. Do you mean to tell me the driver gave false testimony in this trial as well?
That's correct.
Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbroker slipped his mind when he wasn't in the stand.
No. We should persecute him.
Indeed, Lord Van Zeeks.
McGilda took off his coat and gave it to the driver. He folded it up all careful like, and before handing it over, when I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it has got to be worth a few bob.
Yes, Gina was sure the disc must be worth more than Mr. Windibank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery.
The driver looked pretty happy when McGilded flashed some brass in his face. He went running off at a lick. Then the bog trotter called to me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin.
A little more. Hold it. Threatened you how exactly?
Told me I'd only be able to scarp her if I did exactly what he said.
Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing he said.
Which was...
He told me I'd have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop and make sure not to lose it.
The ticket? Well, I never!
Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in lug, to stop it from being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it.
But really, why on earth would Mr. McGilded have done such a thing? Depositing his overcoat with a pawnbroker before the arrival of the police? It makes no sense at all.
There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGilded had the driver deposited in Windibanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs.
Anyway, after that he let me go, so I legged it before the coppers showed up.
Well done, Gina. It can't have been easy to tell the truth like that.
Denise really put her faith in you, Reno.
Yes, and to thank her, she'll have to face a charge... To thank her, she'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible.
It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement like you just have.
I just did that, but okay.
Yep.
Yep, brick
Did
me.
we press the first statement completely?
I sure
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I interrupted, didn't I?
Yeah.
Hold it, hang
I
on.
never got to finish my thought.
I'm sorry, Gina, I'm sorry. Hang on, I don't even really know where I interrupted. Testimony and McGill was the sole passenger. False testimony, my
False.
lord. It's important you tell us the truth
Told me
now.
to say.
Were they acquaintances? I don't know.
I don't know. I did hear him talking a lot.
What were they talking about?
Well, I couldn't hear too well if I had to say. I think it was about money or something. Kept talking about buy-in and not buy-in.
I think maybe we're here.
Yeah.
Perhaps business dealings of some kind.
Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. Started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared to breathe. And then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone keeling over on the floor. It was booming loud and all.
And I believe you let out an involuntary scream.
Yeah. That's what gave me away.
Thank you, Miss Lestrade. Thank you, Counsel. I have heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus.
It would appear on the night 2 months ago, a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilda took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life.
Ha! Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Although I don't quite understand why as yet.
And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilda's coats and its contents were due to be forfeited.
I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial. I knew that.
So you decided you would try to claim the article as your own.
Well, why not, eh? They were gonna be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have got them? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime.
Miss Lestrade, it would appear Mr. McGilded was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be?
Huh? I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He's probably gonna sell it. And he can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime.
My lord! Oh, I'm the lord.
Not yet, anyway.
Oh,
My lord! The evidence your lordship request has been located and is ready for the court inspection, sir!
okay.
It's the box.
Where
Alright.
did I go?
I kind of
Gone.
forgot about the box, to be honest.
Disappeared.
Box.
The mysterious little box, deposited by McGilded 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. To be continued.
To be continued.
What time is it? We're gonna keep going.
44.
All right. Yeah, to be continued. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah. No,
I want to save.
Come in!
Of course I want to save. Come on now.
not allowed.
Oh, well, too bad.
Oh.
Box.
Box.
Open box. Reveal box.
You can't open box.
Why not?
You just have to sit there and wonder why on earth you can't open ye box.
The boxes are meant to be open.
Mhm.
So this is the article in question, is it? It seems like it's from Fire Emblem or something. The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilded 2 months ago.
And on the night of Mr. Windibank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop.
Quick! Let's open it and see what's inside.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, are you the player?
done.
You're the player.
Ah.
Oh. Oh, gracious. This is an ordinary box, it seems.
So on the
Of the musical variety.
Quick, cancel all of Herlock's orders.
on the night on the night where this theft happened, I mean, supposedly, he didn't have the disc, so why would he try to use it? I guess is the thought. Wow. Although in truth, I had an inkling that might be the... No, shut up, Ryunosuke. I didn't know that.
You didn't. It would appear that the box has a miniature music box movement.
Then is it too much to expect?
I think it would be reasonable to assume it is a device for a playback of this disc, my lord.
So, here we have the means to play back Mr. McGilding's disc, deposited at Windibank's at much the same time.
Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not Matilda's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus.
But why, for heaven's sake? I would understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this box disc to Mr. McGilded.
Yes.
Teacher?
I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord.
Was Mason an inspiring composer?
Oh.
Yes, very well.
Like, this thing couldn't play anything but music, right? It has to be music. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the comb is what, like, the teeth pluck the teeth of the comb.
Yeah.
So there's no, like,
And-
hidden message. Well, I mean, I don't know that.
No, you can't make it, like, play a voice.
Well, let the court now listen to the curious disc at last.
Like, you know those
What?
thumb pianos where, like, you pluck the metal things with your thumbs?
Yeah.
It's basically a tiny version of that.
Yeah.
The last Airbender music, yeah.
Yes. Kalimba. Wait, my lord!
Good grief, what's the meaning of this, Inspector?
It says Drinker Ovaltine. The music box and the disc are, well, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection! Ha! This disc may very well have been motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what's happened.
The prosecution has no objection.
Good boy.
Oh, but no, a piece of evidence, you know. Jeez.
Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here.
No.
But it's policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening.
Oh!
No further delays, please. Play the disc.
Gregson, I kind of like you. I don't want you to be a bad guy.
Don't badge it up. Wait, the paper.
It's Morse code.
Oh my God, Supreme Overlord of
Yes.
Ice Gundam? Just as Thanks, Gundam. On YouTube, probably. Yeah, that's
Well,
definitely Morse code, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
I
more
stand
code.
corrected.
What on earth?
Sadly, I'm not the Morse code psychic master today.
Well, we have one on the jury.
That's certainly not what I would call music.
No.
No, that's what I call music. Buy the CDs now.
It's
Easy
just
payment of $19.99.
it's just the same note playing over and over again and in a regular sequence. That must be a weird music box disc then.
There's what juror number 5 is like.
Oh wait, I forgot. We have somebody in this room right
Yeah.
now that knows Morse
Yeah.
code.
Yeah.
It's all relevant.
One of the jury members.
Oh, I think one of us.
Not us. Character.
Oh.
And Graydon also knows what it is.
Mr. Graydon?
This really is priceless. Ha 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 ha! After all that, the music box is broken.
Liar. Broken.
Oh, liar.
It can't be, can it?
Eat shit and live.
Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on their way back to the courtroom.
Garbage.
Well, with much regret. I feel the court must accept that this box offers little in the way of clues.
Juror number 5.
Speak up.
Are you ready to move on, counsel?
Come on. Yes, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? Yes!
It could be a clue.
I believe that it could be relevant, my lord.
Good lord! But how can it be? It's an abomination, Council! Mere noise! I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever!
It does sound strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes the sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge.
If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this.
Oh! Going again? Alright.
Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case?
We have not cut to the jury in a while.
It's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music.
Not supposed to be music.
No, it's broken.
Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music.
Hmm?
Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. I'm on the right lines here. I must be.
Making deductions based on how people react is what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Runo.
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now you told us what they're not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-informed arguments.
No, I'm Ryunosuke. Shirley is in the hospital.
Shut it. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness.
They've got me. I don't know what the answer is yet.
Runo? I love that face!
He hasn't done that in a
In a
while.
while.
It's been a minute.
Stop looking at me.
I've just examined the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all.
Really?
Really. The way it's been made, it can only be produced of a single note anyway.
Well, thank you, Iris. Why didn't we take off that? Isn't that gonna mess it up? Alright,
It's on the bottom.
oh, maybe. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it
Oh, yeah,
must...
the comb is on the bottom.
Oh, okay. It must mean that the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Ah! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are? Brain blast!
Something just struck me, Runo. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even.
Iris, please let me have this.
No, it's my turn. It's time to shine again. I heard another sound very much like this one this music box makes.
Do kids not know what Morse code is anymore?
They don't have an analog clock.
I guess not all of them would, though. Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing.
I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music at all, then what in the devil is it, Council?
All the evidence we've seen so far, all the evidence we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer now.
The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation.
All right then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's going to join all the dots together.
And also the dashes.
Hey, good joke. This.
Hey.
I was like, how do I make this joke? Oh, no, somebody else has got it. Okay.
Oh, Lucas got it.
The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on this music box disc is to be continued. Hey! Who could have seen it coming? What a stuff.
Not me. I thought we were gonna go after it.
No, really? Yeah, but
Yeah.
I can't. I have to go to work.
Yeah.
And this is probably the best opportunity that we're going to get. Oh my god! So much happened in this stream. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
this was an episode.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
Now,
you can finish
did
the game next stream if you go late. So,
Oh my god.
2 more
Oh.
episodes then.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
Multiple people are assuming this might be the final one. Yeah.
depending on
I don't
how late, we could schedule this for a night that I'm not working, and
Yeah.
see where it goes.
I don't know, man. I've
We've
been
never
burned
done that
about
with Ace
pushing
Attorney.
the last episode
Yeah.
of the Ace Attorney stream.
I don't
Yeah.
I
trust
think we should
that
play it
anymore.
safe.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it.
We could maybe do it on a day where we could go late, but not to go with the intention of going late.
Sure. All options. But either way, folks, this is gonna be where we cut it for the night. I think it's a smart place to stop here. Yeah, look forward to the continuation of this. There's so many loose ends. Are we gonna end Grace Attorney 1 with like a ton of questions still left that all are gonna get?
the second game.
Yes, I
There
know.
is a second game.
There is a second game. Is it? Look, but Ace Attorney's never really done that before. That would be very different.
But this is a different side of Ace Attorney.
You're right.
There's many things in this game that has never been done before in
You're
Ace Attorney.
right. I'm throwing my controller thinking about it. Oh my god.
Don't do that.
Okay, fine. All right, everybody, we're gonna stop it here. Thank you all very much for coming. What are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
For
Surprise.
Oh, should we say
mystery
it here?
game that
Break
we have
night.
not revealed yet, but some of you
No,
may
it's a
know
secret.
already.
Oh, you have gotten that
Mhm.
because of the crossword.
Well,
It's a secret to everybody.
nobody knows. What kind of
Just
soup?
know, as a hint, I am very excited for it.
Ah, that's good.
I am not. Just kidding.
What do you mean?
Morse code soup. Morse code soup.
Morse code soup.
Morse code
Yeah.
soup.
Sounds right. See y'all next time, folks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Ready?